All right, I am happy to be joined by Johnny Giunta, host of the Officially Unofficial podcast. Johnny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. As you can see, I might have to put this in my Twitter bio. Alleged COVID survivor. I never got tested, but I'm just going to assume that I had it, and now I beat it. I beat the case. So, yeah, COVID survivor. I'm doing great now.
Wow. I was telling you before, my dad's a two-time COVID survivor. He's batting 1,000. He's had it twice. The dude just doesn't give up. Like, he's 73, 74, and he just doesn't. Like, nothing can take him out. Like, it's Puerto Rican pride. That's why,
something you put in your Twitter bio or something you put in your resume. 2-time COVID survivor, man. That's what you do. That's just incredible. Good for him.
Right on. Johnny, I'm excited to have you on because I listened to your podcast. Your podcast is probably one of my favorite baseball podcasts to listen to. You have a ton of incredible guests on your show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Before we start talking about that, talk to me about how you got into baseball. If it was like a moment in time, like a history or like a team or a family member, what got you into the sport?
I don't know if there's a specific moment. I just obviously growing up with a brother that's like 2 years younger than I am. It's just one of the sports that we played in the summer, to be honest, like playing in my grandparents' driveway, 1v1. We had bases set up. There was like home run over the neighbor's driveway. I just remember doing that. That kind of made me fall in love with the game, as well as like going to Jays games when I was a kid, man. Obviously, I'm from Toronto. So we used to go to the Jays games. Tickets used to legitimately be $2. Like it still mind boggles me that was like the actual price, but probably Roy Halladay was one of the main reasons why I fell in love with the game of baseball, man, because when he was here, that was like the prime years that I kind of remember with the Toronto Blue Jays, was watching Roy Halladay just absolutely put people in his back pocket. So, yeah, it was a little mixture, I think, like playing with my brother growing up, Roy Halladay, and just kind of going to like a ton of Jays games when I was younger. Those are probably like the three main things that stand out to me.
Oh, for sure. And, shout out Toronto, man. It's a heck of a city and a heck of a team right now, man. They just got some boppers, too.
Yeah, no, the Toronto Blue Jays are a wagon, and I get roasted a lot for saying it because I say it all the time. But this team is going to win a World Series sometime. They give me Houston Astros vibes with the core they have and all the stuff that they've already set up, and just even their prospects. Man, there's still so many prospects coming up that are really good as well. But I think we got something really special here. I'm excited for it. It's probably the most I've ever been excited for Toronto Blue Jays baseball in my life. And, man, this is a special time to be a Blue Jays fan. Hopefully they're playing here in the summer, but I'm assuming they will for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And just thinking about, like, you talk about, like, $2 tickets. I grew up born in Oakland, grew up in the Bay Area. So, like, diehard Oakland A's fans, me and my dad were season ticket holders. But eventually we stopped because we can get tickets for, like, $5, $6. We didn't even need to be season ticket holders. We just jump up in the bleachers and kind of sneak down because, like, the seats are empty. I jumped in baseball or started watching baseball when there was Barry Zito, Mark Mulder, Tim Hudson, Eric Chavez that year. Like the Moneyball team, that was what kind of got me into it. Plus my dad, like he's Puerto Rican, so like baseball is like the number one thing in the country. Like you think about all the big Puerto Rican baseball players you have out here in the game nowadays. But like, yeah, man, like cheap tickets, it's crazy how people spend so much money for tickets. I've never spent money on tickets. Like it's always
it's crazy to me. And Puerto Rican, so I got to bring this up. So
yeah,
is Roberto Alomar Puerto Rican? Am I correct on that, or is he?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to Google this right now.
I think I don't know, but I have a funny story. So when I was younger, my dad was a massive Roberto Alomar fan, and he wrote a letter to, I don't know, Roberto Alomar's wife. Yeah, he is Puerto Rican, by the way. Yep, so he wrote a letter to Roberto Alomar's wife, or Roberto Alomar's fan page that his wife made, one of his 12 wives. And when Roberto Alomar's number got retired, obviously not retired anymore, in Toronto, we went out to like this arcade with him, like just me, my dad, my brother, and Roberto. It was, I have to pitch myself. I don't even remember that happening, but I also remember that like we were at an arcade with Roberto Alomar, and I didn't even realize.
How'd your dad swing that?
I guess he just wrote like this. Yeah, like I said, he wrote this note about how much he loved Roberto Alomar growing, like when he was watching the Jays, and his wife was like, "We have to get you to meet him." And then next thing you know, I'm literally with Roberto Alomar, like eating dinner. It was bananas. Like I don't even know how that even happened, but yeah, that's one of my. I've never told that story before. Actually, it's crazy.
Well, that's a flex right there, dude. You know,
it is younger me.
Yeah. You said it was an arcade,
It was like so. It's like Palladium. Do you guys have Palladium in the U.S.? No, right?
Is that like a Chuck E. Cheese or something? I don't know.
It's like a batting cage. There's like batting cages,
Okay.
race tracks there, like a go kart tracks, I guess it is, and then like arcade and then food.
Mini golf
So,
and all that stuff.
yeah, so we did all that with him and stuff. So I just remember like there was like it was security around my family as well as him, and we were just like
Jeez.
walking around like because he was getting swarmed. Like this was when he was literally his numbers was getting retired like the next day. So it was crazy, man.
Dude, I'm actually low key jealous of you right now.
Yeah, he's Puerto Rican legend. Puerto Rican legend.
Yeah. He's up there with Roberto Clemente and all those Puerto Rican legends that we have.
Well, I don't know if you could say that anymore in Toronto. Like I said, his number is not retired anymore because of some allegations. But on the field he was a freak. On the field he was. I watch his film and that guy. I mean, if he could probably compete right now, have 30-30, hit like 310. He was a freak.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you you said you talked about playing with your brother and all that. Did you play in Little League and all that? What position?
Well, no, we don't. Yeah.
Do you not have? What do you guys do?
It's not really called Little League. It's like
because you don't play hockey, do you?
No, I did. Like, yeah, we played. I played hockey during the winter, then baseball in the summer. So. Yeah, and this, I mean, I played, I guess we take a say, like, I was playing, like, the highest level you could play at, like, from ages 13 to, I guess, 18, 19. My brother took the hockey route. He plays university hockey here in Canada now. But, I chose baseball. He chose hockey. At a certain age, you have to choose, right? You have to choose because we did off-ice, like, we used to do training for baseball in the winter as well, so that would cut into hockey. It would just be a weird schedule. So I obviously chose baseball. He chose hockey. But, that's playing baseball with my brother and how competitive he is and I am. Like, that's kind of what started my love for baseball. And, like I said, I mean, I'm a big sports guy in general, so I don't really just generalize with baseball. But, baseball was, like, my main sport.
So you ended up going to college in America here, in Nebraska. What led you to do that? Like what?
That's pretty much the only way you can get not noticed by schools or big league scouts, but that's kind of like the dream here when you're playing baseball because our college here is absolute terrible. Like athletic wise, they maybe get like 2 fans. They don't really invest in their athletic programs. Kind of a joke.
Like all athletics or just baseball?
All athletics. To be honest,
wow.
They don't really invest in their college athletics. So like the dream is to like live that American dream, play for a school down there. So, got recruited by McCook Community College in Nebraska. Got a scholarship offer there. And then the reason why I went community college because you don't need to do your SATs. So I just didn't do my SATs and I went there. So that was kind of like, I guess you could say like that was what made me kind of grow this brand and get all these connections that I have now.
Yeah, dude, because you call yourself the face of JUCO.
Well, yeah. No, that's the thing. That's like just an ongoing joke. I've told that since episode 1. Like that's just like an ongoing thing that we do here, especially the Fall American. That's one of the big things too, because I'm really good in the fall. But if you looked at my junior college stat, like there's obviously irony in it because I was shit. But that's why it's funny. So like when people try to troll me on Twitter and they like to say to me like you how are you the face of junior college baseball? They'll pull my stats up. That's the irony in it. If you don't understand that, you're a clown. So that's what it is. That's what we say.
Exactly. Yeah. At least you understand that you're able to have fun with it, right? You're not just getting uptight and
there's no point. Like I mean, if you're playing junior college in Nebraska, there's a heavy chance you're not going anywhere in baseball. Plain and simple. It's a harsh reality check. We had one guy on my team that plays in the Yankees organization now, but
what's his name?
Jake Sanford. There's just a heavy chance you're not going anywhere in baseball. So you might as well just have fun with it, whether you do well or don't do well. My team liked to have fun with it. We led the nation in drinking underage tickets. That's one thing that we hold to our heart, and that's what happens. I mean, that's what you do. You know, you're not going to go to the show. Might as well have fun with it.
Yeah, Nebraska. Like, what is there to do? Like
nothing. Literally nothing. Like go to a gun range on not a gun range. Sorry, just like a field, I guess you could say, because there was like 2,000 people lived in McCook. But I mean, the funnest thing you could do is we used to go to Colorado, I guess, on the weekend, and which is like 3 hours away. We used to get after it there, go to a couple parties, have a good time down there. But there's nothing really to do in Nebraska, to be honest. And like I said, Nebraska's maybe one of the worst states in the planet. And this is no disrespect. I had fun there, but there's nothing to do there. It's the worst place ever. I don't know how someone lives there. It's a nightmare. Maybe McCook. Maybe I'm just talking about the small town Nebraska. Maybe the main area is fine, which actually it didn't look too bad, but just a nightmare state.
Yeah. I mean, no one's booking trips to Nebraska for their family vacations unless you got family out there. It's not it's not the spot to go to.
It's a stop. It's like it's like a connecting flight. That's where your connecting flight usually is. Nebraska. That's the best way to describe it.
So you talk about, like, on your podcast, you always ask this question, like, what are your JUCO stories? And it's incredible all the guests you have on there. Give me some of your stories. Give me some of your stories of when you were out there grinding in the trenches of JUCO.
So probably my best one. I think I've told this before. Actually, I have two. So the first one is my sophomore season, which is obviously your last season. Our team's done. We're not going to make the Region 9 playoffs. Like, season's over. And this is actually, ironically enough, this was my May 4th. I remember this day exactly. It's my birthday. And I just turned 21. And we go to this guy. We call him, like, this crackhead. We go to this crackhead's house. And we're having a party. Like, literally the whole school's there. Like, the security guard shows up. He's doing these funny things. I think he got fired because of it. And we're all boozing, getting after it. Like, we're leaving at like 6 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
And so everyone's boozing, and then obviously the cops there have nothing else to do, right? So someone gets in a call from the cops, and the cop shows up, and the crackhead who, like, knows the cop, like, obviously he's like he's just like, he's a drug guy. He tries to leave and then wrap around and come through the front and be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Like, he didn't
try to play it off like he didn't.
Yeah. Okay. But the funny thing about this story is, so my whole team's there, obviously, and we have a game the next day. And I'm 21, so the cop's looking at me like, "You're good. Like, you can just stay here, do whatever you want. Like, keep drinking." And my whole team is there. They're all underage. I think at the time I was maybe one of two guys that were actually of the proper age to be drinking. And these heroes on my team, I think the starting pitcher for the next day jumps out of the back window like there wouldn't be cops there and snaps his ankle. Another guy jumps out the window, snaps his ankle, and we just don't have like three pitchers for the next day, like for the series in Lamar. So that's how I could describe JUCO. Another one would be one guy. This is actually the same guy that snapped his ankle, which is funny enough. He missed the team bus. We had a team bus at 4 a.m. He got, I think, drunk the night before, missed the team bus at 4 a.m. He took his own car, drove 4 hours to where we were going to be playing. And, he took his car. And right when he got there, my coach said, "Go to the foul pole." And he just ran foul poles for the 27-inning game we had. So he just ran foul pole to foul pole for like 4 hours. So he just drove 4 hours for that. Like that's what JUCO is. There's no other league. There's no other league that does that shit.
That's wild. That's wild. Hey, I want to ask you. I see all these pins behind you. What's up with that?
So that's Cooperstown. That's another funny story. I was a part of the worst baseball team that ever went to Cooperstown, Dreams Park. Which out of I think there was 102 teams, we came in 101st, minus 54 run differential. I remember this too. This is how I knew I wasn't going to go to the show in baseball. We were facing this New England team, and they were beating us so bad. I was on the mound. I think they threw me on the mound there for fun. I was on the mound, and this team was beating us so bad, they started switch hitting. The whole team was hitting the opposite way. That's what Cooperstown is.
Really?
The Cooperstown is like, it's just a bunch of these ringers that are just nasty at baseball. They want to win this tournament with 100 teams. So we ended up facing these wagon teams and just got absolutely crucified.
It was D1 schools, JUCO schools, everybody, right?
No. This is like when I'm 12. Like this is when I'm like 12.
Okay.
Just getting absolutely pulverized, just getting embarrassed in front of my family. That's what Dreams Park is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that's where Bryce Harper won the home run derby when he was a kid. When he was like 10. That's the big dog tournament in New York, but beside Cooperstown.
Yeah. So they literally were just trolling you guys by flipping and
because I don't think there's a mercy rule past like before like the third or fifth inning. So like they were legit beating us. Like I think it was like 20 something. So they just started switch hitting until the game was like, it was just a crazy scene. But that's what Cooperstown is. It's like there's just a bunch of these ringer teams that are just built from California, Vegas, everywhere, Cali. And there's the nasty.
Wow. Okay. So then so all those pins, are they just like?
So you collect pins. You go like every team brings their
okay.
own pins, and my team was an absolute embarrassment. We have no idea. We brought bottle caps, so every we couldn't even trade for pins because they would throw our shit out. So like they would throw all of our pins out.
Your coach didn't even bring a pin though. Like was he not aware of
no,
the whole
like every player
couldn't afford it.
Every player gets like 50, 60 pins. You just end up like trading, bartering with like
sure.
other teams and stuff. Like to trade for pins, collect these pins, like these exclusive pins, and no one wanted our pin. Like they would just throw that shit out. So that, I mean, like I said, we were the laughing stock of Cooperstown that week, and it was Champions Week, which is when all the good teams go. So we just got crucified.
Wow, that's wild.
Yep, there it is. Yep, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Hey, but hey, at least you have you can have fun with that too. You get it hanging up there, like just like enjoying the fact that you were actually there and just.
No, it's a sick experience, man. Sick experience. Yeah. Like that's one of the big things, especially being Canadian, is going to like the US 4 baseball tournaments and just seeing like the difference in like quality of athlete for baseball.
Yeah. Did you play with anybody there who actually eventually made the show or no?
No, I didn't. Like this one guy, like I said, Jake Sanford. He's
but like in general, that while you were there, not on your team. But
okay. Because there's a couple of Canadians I played with and against that are like in the show now, but like Josh Naylor, Guardians, But I guess him, his brother, his younger brother, they're all going to be in the show. So that's one, I guess you could say. And then the guy at McCook was another guy that I played with. Technically, he's probably going to be in the show sooner than later. So yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with all these guys? That's one way. Like your podcast, you have like a ton of people on there. Like, is that how you kind of started? Like, what got you to your podcast? And what got that idea started to start a podcast?
I think I told a story of like I was playing Fortnite with Amir Garrett. I met Amir Garrett through a couple of my Vegas buddies that went to McCook. So I ended up meeting like Nolan Kingham on the Braves, and then Bryson Stott, and then all these guys, and just started networking like that. And then I met Amir Garrett playing Fortnite with him. Got really close with him. He said, if you start a podcast, I think I brought it up, and he's like, if you start it, like, I'll help you out. Like, I'll help you get guys. Like, just keep, like, I talk to him once in a while still, but he said, just stick with it, keep going with it. Like, kind of motivated me to do it.
Yeah.
And he helped me get like Jesse Winker, Derek Dietrich, who else? A couple other guys, but yeah, no, he was like a massive factor in helping me get guys on the show as well.
Dude, that's huge because like, everybody and their mom has a podcast nowadays. Yeah. And like it's to be able to like just differentiate yourself between all these other podcasts, because literally there's podcasts coming out every day. Like every day I see someone on Twitter like 2022 goal, starting a podcast. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. I encourage everyone because I enjoy it. It's fun. But like literally everybody has one. So just be able to get that like boost of like Amir Garrett, who's a stud, and then through him getting all these other guests on your show, just kind of elevating your content. I think the biggest thing is probably like people buying in, like investing in like me. Like you have guys like Jordan Luplo, Joe Musgrove, like all these guys that are like Johnny Giunta guys, like guys that like willing to help me get guys and trust what I do because they know how much I like it. And like, for instance, like they'll also like go out for a beer with me and just like they're just actual friends of mine. So having guys like that invested in me definitely helps as well. And another big thing is like having these big prospects, like grinding with them along the road. Like the biggest thing that I do is like, and a lot of guests will attest to this, is like I'm with them during their whole career. Like from the minors to the show, I'm texting them like, if they have a good game, I'm hitting them up. Like I'm texting them saying, good job today. Like, holy shit, like pumping their tires, just letting them know, like, I'm not just like this guy. Like I'm not just a podcast host that's just grinding to get shit from you. Like I actually legit care about your career. So that's one thing that's really, I mean, obviously I do care about the career, man. All these guys that come on the show take a chance on someone they don't even know. I'm invested in what they do. I stand up for them on Twitter when guys try to roast them. And that's one of the biggest things that I feel like, just being personal and just obviously not trying to screw them over. I just do this stuff for fun, and I'm not going to ask them these stupid questions that try to put them in a bad spot or bad position. I just try to show that they have personalities and like they're actually good dudes. Dude, that's what's up though, because like, you listen to some podcasts and they're like, yo, let's check out your stats, and like, you know, you all of a sudden like they're on the defense, like they're the whole. but like if you could just be personable with him and like legitimately just have a conversation. That's what I try to do on podcasts. Like I told you before, like I don't have like questions. I just have like bullet points of things I want to talk about, like just different things, and just have a conversation. Because you know what, at the end of the day, we're just two people talking about a sport that we both love. And honestly, like if you think about athletes, they're people too, right? Everyone puts them on that pedestal of like, and obviously they're incredible talent, but at the end of the day, they're still people. They still love to do things you love to do. Like you talk about playing Fortnite, like they're just regular people who just have fun too.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing. And before I go to an interview, I think to myself, if I'm a listener, what am I going to want to know about this guy?
Yeah.
Am I going to want to know what adjustment he made to a swing? No, personally, I don't care. Like I want to hear a story of like what a fan said to them, or a funny minor league story of a fan climbing a pole with a machete, or like just fans just doing crazy shit. I want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about a tweak they made in their back elbow on a swing. I don't care. Like I want it's just being it's just hearing these funny stories is just what people want to listen to.
That's the kind of stuff you don't get like on MLB Network, on all these network podcasts, because they just want to talk about the stats, the game, and all that. But if you just dive deep into their because these guys have incredible stories. Like I've talked to people who've told me incredible things. I listened to your show. You've had some incredible, like just a machete story. I don't know what that is, but just listening to that sounds whack. Like a dude climbing a foul pole with a machete.
That's an actual story. That's an actual story. A fan. There's this weird town. I'm trying to remember. It's in California. Modesto. A fan in Modesto.
Yeah, I know Modesto.
A fan in Modesto climbed a light pole with a machete in the middle of the game. Lugnuts is Lansing. Modesto Nuts. Yep. It's Modesto Nuts.
Modesto's there's something, but
but no, it's like a fan climbed a light pole with a machete or something along those lines. But yeah, no, I don't remember who told me that. Donnie Walton maybe on the Mariners. I think he told me that. Yeah, I don't remember though. Something like that.
So what is one of the more funniest stories that you've been told by some of your guests?
Well, the story that, in my opinion, I think is what made me kind of realize, all right, like this podcast kind of growing. So it was a story. Matt Tabor, who's I think the 7th ranked prospect for the Diamondbacks. He told a story of a fan that was at a bachelor party in Beloit, Wisconsin, believe it or not. And he climbed the foul pole. He made a bet with the bullpen pitchers and said, if you guys follow me, he's blackout. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I'll climb the foul pole and get a Snapchat of it.
Okay.
And there's no security at this game, apparently. I don't know what's going on, but this fan climbed the foul pole, blackout drunk at his own bachelor party, and was just on Snapchat and got the video. And we ended up finding the fan, which is crazy. Like, the fan reached out to me. He quote tweeted the tweet, like he commented on the Instagram.
Yeah.
And he sent us the video, and it is the most bananas thing ever. Like you can hear in his voice, he's like, "All right, guys, I'm on the foul pole," and then he turns the camera around and he's legit like hovering above the field on a foul pole.
Wow. And you said this is in Beloit, or is this in Modesto?
Beloit. No, it's Beloit.
So
Beloit.
let's talk about Beloit, because I was joking with you earlier. You're the mayor of Beloit now that you got them a new stadium.
Yeah.
Oh,
I should be getting thanked for it.
Yeah, like every other episode, you just dump on Beloit, which is fine. Like, I mean, the city itself is nothing to be, it's a disaster. But I've only been to the game once, or a game there once. Me and my wife went there back when they were with the A's. Now they're with the Marlins. But what are some of the what don't you like, or what have you heard about Beloit other than this guy wielding a machete?
Well, the biggest thing about Beloit that really pisses me off is it's a minor league problem, obviously, more than it is the fact that like that place at one point, I know there's a new stadium there. It was considered a big league stadium, like a minor league stadium, professional baseball stadium. Mm-hmm. Every single player, and it's not even like I go out of my way to talk about it. Every single player, when I mention like what's the worst town, worst stadium, funniest story you have, every single guy, it got to every single episode. The guy would say Beloit, Wisconsin. So I'd look into it, and they would tell stories like, first of all, their training room apparently is the size of like a bathroom stall, so you couldn't even like really get work done.
Yeah,
and the ground wasn't even concrete, or like there was no carpet. It was sand. So like it was sand and dirt. So you come out of the shower, you'd have to wear continuous flip-flops everywhere you would go.
Oh, in the locker room there was sand.
In the locker room there was no like actual gravel ground or whatever, concrete. You're literally just, it's sand. Like it's disgusting. It's sand.
Yeah.
And there's like leaking from the roof. The lockers look like the lockers from the movie Major League, like those little it's just a nightmare. And it aggravated me to the point where it's like, how are these people supposed to perform at a like professional baseball level and they're playing at like a legit high school field? Doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Yeah, no, like you said, that's a minor league problem, because like I've talked to guys, like I had Cade McClure on here. He kind of lit up Draymond Green and quote tweeted him. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter.
Yeah,
talking about how they drive all the bus routes and our buses, and they have such a hard life as a minor league. And I kind of had him on. We were kind of chopping it up about that. And like I've heard stories like from others, because I'm with you, man. Like I've had a bunch of minor leaguers on here. We just kind of talk about life in the minors and kind of the grind that they have. Dude, it's a problem that MLB has with their minor league teams. Like these guys are just living in like 6 or 7 dudes in a 2-bedroom house or apartment and just grinding just to get to the show, where like the majority of them, if we're being honest, they won't get there.
Yeah, no, it's a disgrace because there's no other league like it. I mean, there's no other minor league system like it. Not in hockey. Obviously, there's not really a football. You have practice squad where guys are making a shit ton, but yeah, it's just a joke. And no disrespect to the Oakland Athletics, but that's the main farm system that everyone has a problem with. All their facilities are trash.
Well, if you think about their major league club, like they're cheap as it's
it is like, why? How do you expect people to want to play for an organization when? Like Kyler Murray's probably laughing right now at this. Like
I was just gonna mention him. Yeah,
their stadium is pathetic. It's one of the worst stadiums. Like you have to walk through fans to get to the dugout. I believe, right? You have to walk through the VIP section. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Hopefully they move to Vegas, because Vegas
that'd be so lit.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Like I was just thinking about Kyler Murray, because he's now like a star in football, and like when he got drafted, like all the talking shows were like, is he gonna go stay with the A's, or is he gonna go get drafted to play football? This dude is not gonna want to grind in the minors when he can be an instant star for one of the for a football team and lead his team to the postseason. Otherwise, he'd be traded away like 3 years later with everyone else who's in the A's team.
Yeah,
I'm an A's fan. And it sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't make the slightest bit sense for a quarterback to. Would you rather have $30 million and immediately be playing in the NFL, or would you rather sign for $3 million or whatever? I think you got 3.7. Would you rather sign for 3.7 and have to play in Beloit and eat peanut butter and jam and just sleep in roach-infested hotels?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you rather have?
Yeah. Did you see that was going around Twitter like a year or earlier in the season, like that bag of a sandwich that the A's were giving their people in the minors?
Pathetic. It's pathetic.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And like you talk about cheap organizations, they're cheap from the top down. Like it's even like their major league team, they can't. Their major league team is a farm system for already we see rumors of the Olsen and Chapman going to the Yankees. Like these guys are this is like their 4th year in the league, and they're already too expensive because of arbitration.
Such a joke. I mean, pathetic organization, obviously with historic past, like Ricky Henderson played there.
Incredible talent there.
Just a bunch of absolute freaks of nature played there, and then it's just they get dealt. Like Starlin Marte, he's gone. And I was actually at that game. Simeon and Gurriel came back. Yep. That game was bananas. Like that. That's when I realized like this Jays team is. I know
legit
is like. I don't think I've ever seen a team like this in my life, and any team like come back. They did that on multiple occasions. They were actually down 9-0 to the Red Sox at one point too. I think a couple months before, and they came back and won. Like that's a couple things. Like man, but you love to see it against the A's because the A's do have the best jerseys of all time. Those jerseys are sick.
I think they're so underrated. People talk about, the Yankees have the best jerseys because they're iconic. I don't care if it's iconic. Like the Kelly green jerseys that the A's have. When these have the black jerseys, dude, those are sweet. But
and we can't talk about the Yankees being iconic. The Yankees won World Series when there was like 6 teams in the league. Like the 27 rings thing is the dumbest thing of all time. They were beating like literally guys that like HVAC employees that played for other teams. Like they were just not great.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are just a pathetic. They're never the Yankees will never be at the top of the sport as long as that clown Aaron Boone's running the show. And I hope to God they don't get Correa. I really do. That'd be incredible.
You hope they do get him?
No, they don't. I hope they don't. I hope they don't get anyone. I hope they stick with having Torres or whatever.
Yeah. I love the Yankee. Not to get off on the Yankee tandem, but I love the Yankee fan who just says, "Oh, I love Olsen. I love Chapman. Let's just give them," and they name X player who nobody wants, but they just assume that that's good enough to get like any star player back on their team. Like the arrogance of
they can get any guy they want on planet Earth, and that's just not the case anymore. Maybe in the 2000s, sure. In the 2000s, yeah,
they were a wagon back then.
Nowadays, it's like no one wants to play there, especially in the social media age, and especially in the social media age, though. Like, do you want to play for the Yankees? I mean, you saw what they did to Joey Gallo last year. They wanted this guy dead. They wanted this guy murdered, dude. Like, he was obviously not like performing, but at some point, it's like, relax. Like no one wants to play there. You want to play in a city that actually like
what's a good example of that? Sonny Gray. He got traded to New York and he couldn't handle that pressure. Like he completely just was not doing well. He goes to the Reds and he instantly resurgence of his career and he's a stud again.
Yeah.
Like some people just can't handle that, and like plus the whole no facial hair, the no like
it's
all that
so
stuff
dumb.
is just stupid. It's they're so back in the past. Is like they gotta realize we're in 2022 now.
So dumb.
Yo, let's talk about a trade though that you and I probably have different opinions on. Yeah. Speaking of the Jays and the Athletics, I remember this trade. It was around Christmas time, and it was December. I was in my mom's house where I was just wrapping Christmas gifts, and then I get like a tweet on my phone. Josh Donaldson traded to the Blue Jays for scrubs, like Sean Nolan out of the league.
Brett Lawrie.
Brett Lawrie, who's like
a legit psychopath.
Legitimate. I think he got in a fight with Danny Valencia in the locker room like that same year.
Yeah,
when he was on the A's. And then we got Franklin Barreto, who hasn't done anything yet. And then one more person, Kendall Graveman, who's a legit reliever. But if you trade a 3-4 time All-Star MVP for a reliever, like that's so athletic of them.
Yeah, that was the most athletic trade ever. And to be honest, like, I don't really know if I specifically remember that trade exactly because he wasn't really in the prime of his career at that time. I knew
JD.
Yeah, I guess.
He came up in 2012. He was a catcher. He came up.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, and then he was also he was a catcher in the A system.
Yeah.
And then he came up and then he was like our backup catcher, but he's played third base. And then he didn't do well at all, so they sent him back down. And then the third baseman got injured. I can't think of his name. He played for the Tigers for a while. Brandon Inge. He got injured. Donaldson comes up. The A's going to run. They win the 2012 AL West pennant or AL West title on the very last day. Go to get to the postseason. They get just buzzed. They face a buzzsaw in Verlander, and they lose. And then the next year, he's a legit stud.
Yeah,
like, that's it. It's just wild how he was like 27, I think, when he finally got like into the big leagues, and like he was such a late bloomer. But the thing he and Billy Beane got into it. Like he didn't. They kind of were bumping heads. So I think Billy Beane was like, get rid of this guy.
I think, Jose Bautista was also like a very instrumental part in like Donaldson's success with the leg kick and adjusting his approach and all that kind of stuff. But that was my greatest years. And obviously this is a tire pump on my own, maybe a name drop, but
sure.
I've talked to Josh Donaldson before on Twitter live spaces. He said he was going to come on the podcast. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing. He's supposed to be on like a month and a half ago, but that's what he said on the podcast or on the Twitter spaces. We talked for like 50 minutes. It was crazy. There was like 700 people in there listening to us talk. I was just saying something.
How did you get that all set up? Anyway?
So Ben Porter, who's like a big Twitter personality, he's been on the podcast a couple times. Good friend of mine.
Right on.
He did Twitter space. He said starting Twitter space till Josh Donaldson joins. Josh Donaldson joined, and then Ben just added me to the conversation. I was listening for a second, and then he saw me in the chat, added me as a host. Yep. And he just let me and JD like shoot the shit for like 30, 40 minutes for the people. And
that's dope, man. So you basically podcasted with him without being on your podcast.
Yeah, without the recording aspect of it. But it's I don't know what's going on with his career now, but those Toronto days were his glory days. He even said
absolutely.
Playing in Toronto was the greatest time of his career. The stadium, the atmosphere. You've seen the videos. Like it's a madhouse. It's a crazy. It's insane when they're good.
How would you compare that team with JD Batista to like this team now? Because like that bat flip, I still watch that every once in a while just to get myself hyped. Like there's certain clips I'll watch before like every season, and that's right up there with one of my favorite clips to watch.
I would say it's like two different teams. Because that team was like full of the old grizzled vets, right? You had
Yeah.
guys like Josh Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion, David Price, Troy Tulowitzki, and now you have these guys, right, that are like young, trying to prove themselves, but have
Yeah.
also proven themselves, like these young all stars that are going to be playing with each other for a very long time, 5-6 years at least.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just a bunch of guys that came from different organizations that put all the pieces together and that worked in a great system, like Alex Anthopoulos, the goddamn king here.
Yeah.
He brought all those guys together, and that year when the Bautista bat flip, I think, that Jays team was under 500 going into the All-Star break and went on like a 13-game win streak.
Yeah.
And then they picked up David Price, and I was like, holy shit. Then they got Tulo. Like, that team was not good before the All-Star. Or I think it was before the All-Star break, but that's what I would say is like this Jays team now. You have this narrative from like 3 years ago, the baby Jays, baby Blue Jays,
but now they're big now.
And now, and then back then it was just this team that kind of came out of nowhere that just all of a sudden started to be good, right? So it's like two different aspects. But I would say this Jays team is going to be more exciting than what that was. I hope we'll see.
Was it Dyson who gave up that home run to Bautista?
Yes, and that was the guy that was talking shit about Bautista too.
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny because that guy he was on the Rangers. So the next year the Rangers were playing the A's, and my sister's at the game, and he tosses her that same glove. His glove. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the same glove. I mean, either that or it's like an identical like replica. He has a bunch of the same ones, but yeah, he tossed my sister in the fan, so she has that glove now.
That's a piece of memorabilia right there. That'd be electric if it actually is. Like that could probably sell for so much.
There's no way to prove it, but it looks like the same as that glove. I mean, maybe he just has like that's like his style of glove. But either way, like, yeah, he was the one who gave it the home run. And the next year, he tosses it to my sister, which is dope.
Yeah, he was the most hated man. And I think Trevor Bauer was the most hated man because he wiped his ass. I think with a Blue Jays rally towel. I think
really.
Wow. I think that was the Rogers Center. That was like before he became this like big time name, but he wiped his ass with a Blue Jays towel when the Indians beat the Jays. I think it was like in 5 or 6 games, but he was.
That was when he went to the World Series that year.
Yeah, against the Cubs. Yeah, that was against the Cubs. But man, those are probably my best memories, to be honest. The Jays fan is those 2 years, and then the year after you had the Edwin Encarnacion home run in the wild card game against the Orioles when Showalter didn't bring in Zach Britton.
Yes. Man, Britton was so good too. He's kind of fallen off now, but like that was and Showalter. He's gonna face some criticism in New York because he's very old school. But I think that's the right move for them. But yeah, like not putting in your best pitcher and giving up a walk off to the Jays. It's just
I can't. Yeah, man, you got to see these atmospheres here. Like I say it all the time on the podcast, like. That Yankee series, I think it was like there was 2 series left. That Jays-Yankees had a 4-game series when the Jays kind of moved ahead of the Yankees before the 2 weeks later where they kind of dropped it. That was the craziest atmosphere ever. That was the game. It was Garrett Cole. I went to it. It was Garrett Cole versus Barrios. Barrios absolutely carved. Garrett Cole went into the 8th. Bo Bichette. I think Bo Bichette had 2 home runs. He had an Oppo one and then an Oppo double or something along those lines. That stadium was buzzing, and that was at capacity. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like now when the Jays make that actual push and when there's like actual like holy shit, we're in the playoffs here. It's going to be incredible, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, dude. Like that team is one of those teams that you look at. You talk about the Astros, the Cubs, these teams that didn't do well, but then they drafted well. Like it's completely opposite of like teams like the Pirates who still don't play well and they just some reason they can't get over that losing ways because the Pirates for a while, dude, they were I think three straight years in the postseason or two or 3 wild cards and they just faced it. They think the Giants like 2 out of those 3 years and just got Madison Bumgarnered.
Yep, exactly. No, yeah, that's one of the organizations. You never know if they're going to be good again, but they have a really good minor league system, man. They're nasty.
Yeah. Simeon's another guy who former A on the the front office of Oakland's like, no, we can't keep this. You know, it's wild. He and I grew up like within miles of each other.
Really?
I never knew him, but like, we both lived in the same city for like our whole childhood.
Yeah, no, Simeon's a guy to me, certified clown show. I mean, you want to take the money and play in Texas for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Kiss away playing in the playoffs. I mean, this guy's never, and I'll say it right here. the Texas Rangers will never be good. The Rangers will never surpass what the Toronto Blue Jays do.
Yeah.
He had a massive opportunity to stay here. He would have had a lineup, guys hitting behind him, where you were forced to pitch to him. In Texas, you just have him and Seager. I'm sorry, there's literally no one else in that lineup. There might be another guy, but I understand the money aspect, cool, but you could have taken a little bit of a discount and stayed here and like legit won a World Series or been close to it for like the next 5 to 6 years.
He would have played meaningful baseball for like the rest of his career, at least.
But instead, he's going to be in the basement. And people are saying to me, "Yeah, they signed John Gray. John Gray? The Jays signed Kendall Graveman. Like the Jays now have that good rotation, and hopefully they start getting their bullpen guys, but." It doesn't make sense to me why these guys just go chase the bag when he has enough money, man. You have enough money. Why don't you want to win a ring now? Like everyone roasts the ring chaser thing.
That's how. Oh no, I'd be a ring chaser in a heartbeat. Like I would sign with the best team for whatever they would have me at. Like legitimately, like because the goal is he already got the bag. Like he had a good deal with Toronto. Like they paid him pretty well for that one season. And talk about betting on yourself, dude. So again. In Oakland, I watched him play. He was traded to us for Jeff Samardzija from the White Sox. He was the worst like shortstop in baseball. Like I think he led the league in errors in 2015. Like one of the worst. Every radio station after the game when they do like the calls and like everyone would talk to the host about complaining about the game. His dad would have to call the show and like defend his son. Like that's how bad it got.
Oh my god!
Oh, it was terrible, dude. Like everyone hated him. He was like just getting clowned, and then. They brought in Ron Washington, and then Wash like worked with him every day. Like Simeon is a grinder. He was at the ballpark every day doing drills with Wash, and then like 2 years later, he's in the running for a Gold Glove, and I think he won last season a Gold Glove. So he turned his career around, and like so good for him for getting that money because like his career to start off with was. Yeah, I didn't think he would even last in the show. It's wild how good he is now, and like. He was third in MVP votes 3 years ago with Oakland. So
even this year he was third, right? But you want to hit in a lineup where pitchers are going to be forced.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Like, it's in Texas. It's who you're going to be facing: the Astros, the Mariners. Who the Mariners are stacked now. They're probably going to be one of the next teams that are good. And then again you have the Yankees and the Red Sox and in the AL East. So it's not really comparison there, I guess. But it's.
I guess. I mean, I don't know what it could be for him. I guess maybe he wanted to play in Texas, but it's just I don't understand that shit, man. You're hitting in front of Laddie. Like, what more could you ask for? You're no
state taxes.
I guess the state tax and the taxes.
That's huge, though.
Yeah,
it's huge because like Texas, like that no state. I almost moved to Texas before I moved out to Wisconsin. Your guy Hobie Harris, he was in the Jays last year in the AAA. He is now a Brewer. Have you talked to him since the trade?
Yeah, no, he's excited, man. Obviously, especially with the young arms and all the roster spots, limited roster spots available with the Blue Jays, didn't really have that much of an opportunity here. He is nasty. Like we're talking like 99 from the right side, nasty off-speed stuff, an absolute grinder, a good back end of the bullpen guy. He's going to be massive. I think he's going to be in the show in like May. Like, if he did what he did last year for the Jays, he was just punching tickets like it was nothing. He's a grinder. He's been through the ringer in the minors, obviously. He's played for the Yankees and picked up by the Jays in the Rule 5. But if the Brewers try, I mean, I don't know what they do with their pitching, but
our pitching is elite. Like they take good pitchers and they're like they made Hunter Strickland a legit baseball player again. Like they're good.
No, I think and obviously I think that's why he chose to go there. Maybe I guess I don't know if they're pitching and all that kind of stuff, but no, he's good, man. He's one of the really good guys too in the game of baseball, like a genuine sweetheart. I love Hobie, man. So I'm gonna get him on here for you. He'll do it. No, he'll do it.
He has to now. You put it out there.
No, it's not even hot. Like he's gonna do it. Like trust me. I'm close with his agent as well, so it'll be easy. It'll be easy for him to come on. So
I respect that. Hey, when he makes his major league debut, I was gonna talk to you about that. Like, are you gonna come out here to Wisconsin?
I might. Like I said, I mean, I'm a debut guy now. I've been to a couple debuts. Kevin Smith's debut. On the Blue Jays, he made his debut. I was there with his family. It was very emotional. it was to the point where it was emotional. Like I don't know why I would have been emotional about it because I literally known him for a year. But just seeing how much emotion was in his family, it was borderline putting me in tears. And for his first at bat, obviously because he's my guy. I mean, I talk to him every single day. So just seeing his debut, and I was nervous as hell. So I packed the dip. I put a dip in my mouth on his before his first at bat at the Rogers Center. He gets this squeaky little hit. I swallow the dip. And I'm shown on the TV with behind his family.
Yeah.
And I just look zooted. Like I got a million text messages like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like you look messed up. But I love debuts. I'm gonna try to be at Hobie's debut, man, because that's a guy that just
I'll try to go too. We'll catch a game together.
That's a guy that's absolutely been grinding, man. I hope it's debuts in like New York or something, or Philly, somewhere close here, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I can't pick.
Well, Milwaukee's not too far from you.
Yeah, no. How far is that? Like 13 hours, I think. I think it's 13. I searched it up, actually.
Okay.
Because it's in Wisconsin, correct? Obviously, it's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And no, it's 13 hours. Because me and my brother actually searched the other day how far Lambeau is. Is that correct? Are you close to Lambeau?
2 hours maybe.
Yeah. So Lambeau Field's like 11 hours and 30 minutes from me. So it's in that range. It's drivable.
Yeah, it's not the worst drive. I mean, you know.
No, for sure. Not driving to Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, you drove to Michigan what, like a week or two ago?
3 weeks. 3 weeks ago for the 3 weeks ago I drove to Indianapolis for the.
It was in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
okay.
It was in Indianapolis.
That's even further though.
The Big Ten championship. Yeah, it was like 9-hour drive. It was 9 hours, but no, it was worth it, obviously. But yeah, Indianapolis isn't too far from you, I'm assuming, right? Like probably like 4 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, so you would be closer then.
Yeah. Maybe actually, yeah. No, I probably I guess you could say it was like 7.5 hours to go to Indianapolis.
Okay. So then you're probably like that means you're closer to us than that because you have to drive further to get to Indianapolis.
Maybe. I honestly I'm not sure. I know you guys you have to drive through Chicago to get to you guys, like with our route. For our route you have to because there's like a lake in the middle of it, so we have to drive around that. So I think that's why it's like 12 hours.
Oh, that's fair because then you have to go around the other way. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, hey, if it is in Wisconsin, dude, and it's kind of hard though because he's a reliever, so it's kind of hard.
So you never know. Yeah, you gotta just assume. I know his agent's gonna be there. So worst case, his agent's out of New York. So worst case, we'll just fly out because New York's like 6 hours from me. But no, I have to go see his debut, man. Like I wish it was here in Toronto, but he's gonna make most of the opportunity, man. You'll see. He's a freak.
You know, I'm excited to have him on the podcast. I'm excited to have him on for the Brewers because like I live here in Wisconsin, so like I cheer for the Brewers all the time. Like they're like my NL team. Like I love watching them. We have a team that's loaded. Like our pitching staff is probably like the best in baseball. If not, it's easily top 3. We also have the NL Cy Young Award winner. We have a legit bullpen, so he'll fit right in there with Hader and Devin Williams. Like.
And he's a Texas guy, man. He's a cowboy boot wearing cowboy hat. He'll fit in good there, man. I'm excited to see like that debut because you love to see these success stories of guys that kind of really came from not that much. I mean, he went to Pitt, a late round draft pick, and now he's like you could taste the show. He should have been there last year. You can make the case. The Jays had Tyler Chatwood in the bullpen, the worst pitcher I've ever seen in my life. I hate Tyler Chatwood, but it's like. That's one thing that will never stick with me is like why the Jays didn't call Hobie up. That's one of the big gripes I have with them. But he's gonna make the most of it, man. I'm fired up for it.
Dude, that's awesome. Hey, I'm gonna let you go because I know you're busy, man, and all that stuff. But I want to thank you for coming on the pod, John and Johnny, and I do appreciate you taking the time to talk, man. And like I said, give your podcast a shout out too, man, so we know where to listen to you.
Yeah, Officially Unofficial podcast available everywhere. A little bit of a big guest coming on this week, Luke Jackson, reliever of the Atlanta Braves, one of the big guys in the night crew.
We're a big no Braves pod. Just because they destroy the Brewers.
True. Yeah,
I'm just asking.
I'm a big Matzik guy, though. Matzik's one of my best friends. So
that's awesome.
Tyler Matzik, he hooked it up. Shout out T. Mats. Sorry for what he did to the Brewers, but Matzik's just that guy. He's that guy, plain and simple.
The Brewers, everyone just ran into a buzzsaw with the Braves team. They were good. I thought the Brewers had a legitimate. I had Jeff Blum on, and we were talking about that, and he's like, "Dude, I think it's gonna be Astros and Brewers." I'm like, "Dude, I think it is too." Ended up
it should have been realistically,
and it could have been. We had the team to do it. It's just like the Braves; they were just destined to win.
Hot at the right time, man. But
That's what
anyway,
it
thank
is.
you for having me on, brother. And like I said, well, I'll get you Hobie on the podcast. I mean, he needs to get a little taste of what a Brewers fan's like. He probably has no idea. We gotta pop the cherry for him.
Yeah. We got to get him on. We got to get him excited to be here. Get him taste. I don't know if they have Culver's out in Texas, but
They might. I know they have Zaxby's. Zaxby's. Do you guys? Yeah, Zaxby's. I think that's
Never
what
heard
it
of
is.
it.
Never heard of it. Yeah, it's like a thing.
But I mean, I've only been here 5 years, so I don't know.
Okay. All right, man. Well, thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.